I'm just going to get double Valakut here. We're not messing around. We absolutely are not. They're choosing to play first, of course. Bingo! We have the Force of Vigors. Hello and welcome, everybody. We are back here for round 2 with the list you see on screen. And as always, in match 1, you'll find a deck tech and the details for this deck list about the card choices and what exactly it is that we're doing here. But for now, all I'm going to say about it is that we are playing my FNM Amulet list, and so far we're not doing so great. We ended up losing round 1, and if you want to see how that happened, then of course you have to check out round 1. This ain't round 1, what are you doing? But yeah, let's just jump straight in here for the match. Alrighty, let's hop in here for the match. We were on the play last time, so I'm not surprised to be on the draw this time. That's just balance. That's just how it works. Playing against 0 with an X. Interesting. 0H92. Or maybe the H is part of the O syllable. I don't know. Our opponent needs to decide whether they're going to play first or not. It'd be strange if they disconnected this early when we just got into the game. There we go. And we have the perfect all-land hand. This is a snap keep. Remember, all-land hands are the goal when you're playing Amulet. Don't do anything other than playing lands. That's all you want to do. Mulligan. Alright, we have turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Garenbrig Amulet. Well, and an Amulet to go, I should be saying. We need a bounce land, but we can always use our Saga to set up an expedition map, so I mean, this hand looks like it could pretty much be the nuts. I'm going to ship the Summoner's Pact here, as we have all of the creatures that we could possibly need. Leading on Plains. So, perhaps Hammer Time, as we see a turn 1 Ornithopter. So nice that our opponent played a Shadow Spear and not a Sigarda's Aid. Of course, we're leading on Saga. Gotta get that 1-drop or 0-drop ASAP. We'll pass it back. Alright, deck. Bounce land off the top. Pure Steel Paladin. Okay. Bounce land. That ain't a bounce land. Not even close. Interesting. Well, I guess we're playing Relic and Grazer and passing. We could also cycle Relic. I don't really see a point in that. I think having Grazer out to block could be useful, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it into play. That could be wrong, I suppose. Yeah, I guess playing Grazer out now prevents us from having a 3-drop this upcoming turn, but it's okay. We'll just top deck the bounce land anyways. We always had it. Don't worry about it. Well, Relic, yeah. You'll get Relicked. Nothing you can do about it. I guess because of Relic, we want to yield until next end step, and not until end of turn. Okay, they didn't even let us Relic them. Sad. Alright, we'll float here, and we'll sack and get a map. Boom. If we crack map, get bounce land, versus play Sunhome, get bounce land, it doesn't really make a huge difference. We could also pop Relic and try to find a bounce land that way before we do anything else, because if we found a bounce land off the top, we could play it and play Azusa and Dryad. If we map now for bounce land, we only get 1 land play, and that's a maximum of 2 mana. So I think we're supposed to pop the Relic in case we hit the bounce land. Garenbrig. Okay, well, I guess we'll just play that. And pass. We will hold up our expedition map activation here. Glad our opponent doesn't have, like, literally anything going on over there. They could have hammered up a creature by now, since they have 2 artifacts for the Metalcraft on Pure Steel Paladin, so no Steel Shaper's Gifts, no Stoneforge Mystics, no hammers, no nothing. They're just like, what is going on? Okay, well, boom, map. We want a Simic Growth Chamber. And we do have Titan this turn, so might want to go ahead and do that. We can always deal when there's only 1 amulet out. And this is one of those situations that comes up not so infrequently, where Expedition Map is the key to setting up a Titan turn. Because mapping for a bounce land in particular is something that I find happening quite frequently when it comes to playing this deck, which is part of the reason why I like maps so much in the main. It also lets you search for caverns and various things, Telaria Wests, to name a few. And I think we're going to pick up the Boros Garrison to its own trigger, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave this Simic Growth Chamber in play. We're going to attack, and then probably get Valakut in a bounce land. Our opponent doesn't even have... I guess they could activate Inkmoth Nexus for Metalcraft. Or activate Saga. But they tapped all their white mana, so... I'm not worried about Dispatch anymore. That's what I had been worried about, but now we don't even have to think about it. So Slayer Stronghold, Boros Garrison. Even if they trade with our Titan here, as long as we're potentially getting Valakut triggers, I don't really care, so... Boom. And of course, we're going to keep the bounce land in hand here, so we can have as many lands as we need for Dryad shenanigans. We'll swing. Yep. Now we get Valakut and a bounce land. That'll leave us with 4 lands in play, which is one short of triggering Dryad, but it's probably still the play. We could also just get double Valakut, since we're not going to be able to trigger Valakut this turn anyways, and that way we'll have even more hyper uber lethal setup, even if they somehow deal with our Titan. Like, there's nothing that's forcing us to play Dryad right now, right? Could also get Saga, but nah. I'm just going to get double Valakut here. We're not messing around. We absolutely are not. Next turn, we can play Dryad. Land. That's a lot of Valakut triggers. I have to admit. They can hammer and Shadow Spear something, and it'll have Trample. So depending on if they have a second hammer here, I guess we could be in trouble. Even if we just, like, put all of our creatures in front of whatever their hammered creature is, and then just untap and play Dryad, we might still just kill them, so... It'll be interesting to see. Oh, they have Inkmoth, but it won't have... I guess they can double activate Inkmoth, so they can regain the flying, but even then we can still block with a Grazer and not take lethal poison, so... 12... Yeah, so we'll be taking exactly 9 Infect, even if they double activate here for the flying. Giver, okay. Just activating Inkmoth a billion times, sounds good. Yeah, we'll block that one. This one does have Reach. Look at that. Reach. 9 poison. Love to see it. I guess maybe we should have... we don't have Ghost Quarter on the main board, so there's nothing we could have done about that anyways, but... Alright, well, opponent, I would say I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say it at all. You're just dead. And I'm going to go ahead and play the second Dryad here, so that they can't just get us by having a single, like, Path to Exile type removal spell, or Dispatch, or whatever. And we're going to go to combat and attack first, and then just play some land drops afterwards, I think. Boom. We'll get Valakut, Vesuva copying Valakut, and I guess a fetch land. Just everything upstairs. Always yes, always yes, always yes, always yield. Surviving at 9 infect or 9 poison, that's just rude. We're rude today. Fetch. Forest. Lethal. Got him. Too easy. Too easy. We want explosives in this matchup. We want forces and foundation breaker. We want dismembers. We want ghost quarter. And I think we want Radiant Fountain as well, as if they just put a hammer on an Ornithopter on like turn 2, then a single play of a Radiant Fountain could be the difference between losing in 2 turns and losing in 3 turns, so it's nice. We can trim on Explorers here. Don't need the Relic. The map is probably still good. 1 Cavern can go, although they do play Grazer on 1, so that means that they're valuable just as green sources, but I think cutting 1 is fine. I think it would be fine to trim the Breeding Pool as well, because we don't need to be taking the life for the land, as that's counterintuitive, but also the likelihood that we're going to be transmuting Telaria West is not that super high. So I don't mind trimming that. We can trim... Actually, I think we want all the Summoners packs, because having access to both Dryad and Titan against our opponent is going to be extremely relevant. Trim the last Explorer. We could trim one Saga to play around our opponent having some sort of disenchant type effect, like Seal of... What is it called? The white seal that destroys an artifact or enchantment. They have that one. They sometimes have things like Fragmentize or whatever. Plus, it's also a colorless source, so I'm not super fond of it, but... Man, how do we have so many cards to still take out? Alright, I'll trim a Saga. I think it could be wrong, though. Actually, no, I do think that's wrong. I'll trim the extra Cavern, as much as I hate to see a green source go. I'll trim one Garenbrig. Just because we don't want to have them clogging up our hand if we draw multiples. Even though I think it's good in this matchup. I guess we trim one Pact out of necessity. And... I really don't know. I'm at a loss here. A fetch. That doesn't seem like the best, but we're doing it. Hit submit. Let me know what you would have done differently if you were to sideboard for this matchup. I don't know how we have so many cards to bring in, but not very many cards to take out. It's pretty crazy to me. That Grazer in game 1 won us the game. I just realized that. I mean, I knew that was happening at the moment, but I didn't realize how significant that is. Little innocuous one-drop creature, huh? They're choosing to play first, of course. Bingo! We have the Force of Vigors. We have Amulet. We have a land to cast the Amulet. Not on turn 1, but on turn 2, which is fine. We even have interaction in the form of Dismember and ramp in the form of Dryad, so we're definitely keeping this. Let's see what they lead on here. Memnite, okay. We'll yield the instep here. Just all the things. Sigarda's Aid. Cool. Alright, we'll untap here. Play out the Castle and pass. I wonder if we're force pitching Grazer or force pitching Dryad. I guess if we force pitching... not Dryad, force pitching Force. If we force pitching Force, then that would allow us to play Grazer into Dryad this upcoming turn. I don't know how good that is, but since we don't yet have a Titan, they search for Shadow Spear as the equipment of choice from their Stoneforge, which is interesting to me. Hammer. Alright, we are probably just forcing to hit the Aid and the Hammer, I think, here. So, we're going to let this interplay, and then we're going to force hitting these two things. And I don't see a reason not to just do it now, so... I think we're pitching the other Force. Because we have a Dismember to deal with whatever else they can come up with, so... Look at you, Force of Vigor! Swing one. You got it. I'm all for that. And now we have our Titan, so... Super glad that we kept both the Dryad and the Grazer. Here's Grazer. Here's Dryad. We could also use this turn to Dismember, but nah. Alright, go ahead. Oh, I guess we could have still Dismember there if we wanted to, but we probably want to hold up Dismember if at all possible, and we need to keep this Gruul Turf in hand, so... The last card is Shadow Spear, as we already know, so... I guess they draw from the Pure Steel Paladin. Sure. The draw was Horizon Canopy, by the way. Swing one. We'll block. Again, reach, the keyword. They re-equip. Cool. I think we should probably dismember this Pure Steel Paladin while we have the chance. We're going to start by doing the Titan thing, though. Seems like a good choice. We don't have to worry about removal or anything here, so we're just going to go straight for the haste, of course. Keeping the bounce land in hand because I didn't think about it. Oh well. Alright, we'll cast this. Get a Titan. Play the Titan. Haste the Titan. Attack with the Titan. Too bad we can't do the Valcut shenanigans, but doesn't matter. Our opponent concedes it up. their 2 cards in hand were Esper Sentinel and Inkmoth Nexus. I guess that was after they just drew some cards, so I don't know, whatever. Well, that was a pretty straightforward match against Hammer Time. Usually it doesn't go that swimmingly, I will say. But, I mean, I guess having the Force of Vigor in Game 2 just right off the jump, it's pretty good, pretty good. And that, to be fair, we were gunning against this type of matchup by having a 3rd Force of Vigor, by having the Dismembers and the 4 mainboard Grazers. Like, that's the reason why the deck is configured in the way that it is. So, anyways, that was pretty fun. Hopefully you agree. And if you don't, then maybe you'll like the next match instead. So, I'll see you guys for match 3. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.